What's up guys, Scotty here from the Blue Coconut family and welcome back to another City Skylines tutorial. Today we're going to be starting our look at electricity within City Skylines. But to start off, we're going to look at a power grid and also power lines. So what do I mean by a power grid and power lines? Well, a power grid is a kind of is an invisible thing within the game that you can then see using a data layer that connects each of your buildings and kind of places around your city together for power. So you can see this is if you go under your data layer and click on the blue lightning bolt as your first icon for electricity. Here we can see your power grid. So the blue area that is around a certain region is your power grid. This is where you need to connect your power to. So this is everything inside this area. This is what is connected to power. Now there are two types. There is powered and unpowered. And we can see here that these have got the red buildings. They've got, and the big tell is that they've got the power symbol. These are unpowered. Whereas buildings that are bright blue show powered things. Now the benefit of this is you can easily see where you need to connect your power grids to. Now we can see here that items such as wind turbines and other ploppable items have their own power grids, like this airport here. You can see that it has its own power grid, meaning you can connect it up to your other power grids to be able to power it, and also for your power stations. Now there are two ways you can connect your power grid. You can either build up buildings or something to that so that they all interconnect. Now if we look at the large city, we can see here this is one huge large power grid that goes all the way around the city like so. Now you can see that despite these being quite close to each other, they do not reach. They are not connected, so this side is not powered by this side directly through the power grid. So the other way you can connect power grids is by using power lines, and that's exactly what is here. Now these do exactly as they say on the tin. These connect two power grids using these lines. Now these can span all sorts of gaps and can connect between power grids. Now there are two ways a power line will come in: powered and unpowered. Now you can see this is if we place down power grids here, we can see they have been turned black. Black power lines mean they are unpowered, whereas over here we can see these blue ones and they're glowing. These are powered. Now something to bear in mind is these have to go back to some form of power generation. Now whether that is a single wind turbine such as here, or whether it's your main infrastructure like a dam, or maybe your solar array or your solar updraft or something like that, we're going to be covering those in future episodes. But it's worth knowing that whatever you connect it to, make sure you have enough power to supply the thing you are supplying. So this small town here, now potentially if I connect it up to this wind turbine here, it'll be able to sustain it for now. But if the demand peaks and I grow this city, then quickly this is not going to be efficient enough. Not going to be sufficient enough to power this town. So I'd have to connect up to my main power grid, and that gives you your energy available in the top left here. Okay, so what we can do here is I'm actually going to delete this line here, and I'm going to explain how you place down a power grid. So once you open up power, you automatically open up the data layer as well, so you don't have to go always up to the top left. So your power grids are your first item. So your power lines are your first item within the electricity section. So they have an upkeep of 0.48 monies a week per cell, and a cell is a tower. So you can see there as I place it is how many towers are placed. So that there is 2 cells, 3, 4 and 5 and so on and so forth. So you can see how much they cost. They cost 20 monies per cell to build. So yeah, and they literally do as they say on the tin, they carry power. Now to place these, if I placed it here and here, you might be wondering, well, why is it not taking power? Now, to build a power line correctly, they have to be within the power grid. So the base of the cell, or the tower, has to be inside the blue marker. Now, something to definitely make note of is if I place the tower here, now for now, that is inside that grid. But if that building there got demolished, removed, something like that, you quickly saw there, this cell is no longer inside that grid. And so that is something that if you're all of a sudden an area becomes unpowered, check your placement of your power lines. It might be that the building that you had connected it to in order to stay inside the grid has now been demolished or has been removed, and so they're no longer inside the area. But once that building comes back, as you can see there, the power grid comes automatically once the plot has been placed, not when the building is complete. We can see there that that grid has now expanded, so it's always good, as a rule of thumb, I normally like to have 2 cells inside a power grid, like so. Now for buildings that aren't going to move, so I know that this wind turbine here is not going to change. Yeah, I'm not going to build, it's not going to demolish it. I might move it, but then that's a conscious choice I will make, and I'll make sure that I move the power grids. But it's not going to disappear by itself. So for this, you're okay with placing one cell tower. Sorry, not cell tower. One tower of the power line inside the grid. Now to help connect this town for supply purposes up to the main grid, I'm going to connect it up to the rest of the grid there. So I know this line here goes back to my main city and also goes into the airport, which is just about inside the airport's power grid, but I'm going to connect it up to here. Now you can hop power lines. Now what I mean by that is, let me just go back just into the data layer, so I've got my mouse. Now this is the main grid here, so this is the national grid of electricity which goes to my big power stations, and it comes through here into the airport, but it also comes here. Now it does not have to connect with power lines to come to here to then go into this town. The power grid here counts as a power line. So the electricity will flow through here, cross here, jump over the power grid and through these lines here. So now this town section here is now powered by the national grid of this line here and is connected to the rest of the city. That is definitely worth noting. Now I could have connected it up to anywhere. I could have connected up to these, which is also on the national grid, but this one was closer, so I did that. And also I can demonstrate that it jumps between the lines here. So with that being said, remember to hit that like button and also subscribe. I know that only about 1% of you is actually subscribed, so what you're doing only takes a second. Hit that subscribe button. I've been Scully, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye for now.